Part of the Pursuit of Excellence journey means giving something back. And having been helped by so many people to achieve my sporting excellence, and having come from such a challenging background where the colour of my skin or my accent actually determined the barriers that I had to overcome, I always looked for that opportunity once I'd achieved success as to how I would put something back into the communities I came from. 22 years ago this year, I was to have that opportunity whilst helping Britain's bidding, hosting and legacy of major games. And in 1993 in Manchester, and as demonstrating, I think, fully how we turn a massive negative into a positive, the shooting of a 14-year-old schoolboy on the streets of Moss Side, whilst Manchester were bidding for the 2000 Olympics, saw me have to take a leadership decision. And the schoolboy's name was Benji Stanley. And his life being lost, which heralded the beginning of the gang culture in this country, saw how sport and the arts could act as a vaccine, an antidote, and possibly treatment, because we shouldn't be too, I think, circumspect or too naive as to what sport and the arts could do. But if I was to give you what the Youth Charter, as it was to become, launched at one of the cathedrals of sport, Wembley, in 1993, where I brought sportsmen and women, the public, the private sector, the third sector, all representatives of society came together at Wembley to launch the Youth Charter. What is the Youth Charter? The Youth Charter is simply about providing young people with an opportunity through sport and cultural activity for life. We do that in three ways. Firstly, we engage them with cultural activity. It's what they're interested in, it's what switches them on, and if it doesn't, it's what can captivate them. Secondly, once we have engaged them, we equip them with the confidence, the self-esteem, and the ability to believe that they can realise their life skills and life potential. Thirdly, we empower them. Once they've gone through that two-step journey, we empower them with the tools so they can contribute to themselves, to their community, and to society as a whole. And we believe that's done through vocation, training, employment, and enterprise. Ultimately, the cycle of wealth that we engender and aim as the Youth Charter to provide is to allow social enterprise, which sees money made for profit and half made for good, go back into the community with a social, cultural, and economic benefit. We had scrolls that are signed by Britain's sportsmen and women and international sportsmen and women, and many years on, we have inspired the Sport for Social Development for Peace movement. The Youth Charter's ultimate aim is to allow communities to run themselves, to operate themselves, and to sustain themselves, with young people at the very heart of our efforts. Past, present, and future sees all things in our programs and projects, upon which we have the Youthwise program, which is about personal and social development for life. We believe that our schools is the first step of developing a classroom, playground, and beyond the school gate journey. Beyond the school gate, we have a social coach leadership program. And this is about people who care about young people, but have sport and the arts as their tool of engaging, motivating, and inspiring a win-win-win for everybody. Social coaches are a very valuable and important part of the Youth Charter's work, and they bring a lot of life experience, they bring a lot of emotional intelligence that they can then engage, and on the wavelength, culture and language of young people, develop a relationship and commonality of approach. With the schools, with the community, we then have a community campus. And that community campus sees schools, youth centres, leisure centres, community centres, any facility that opens the door to our young people is part of that community campus. And all we then do is inspire, broker, and ensure that everybody works together, because that's the challenge we face. But on the basis of the legacy of the 2012 Olympic and Paralympic Games in London, we believe that the inspiration of the Youth Charter's work, which again, on our philosophy of local is global and global is local, South Africa, the late President Mandela, and his vision of seeing sport play a role in the new South Africa, in building relationships and restoring a sense of the Rainbow Nation's future, how he was able to do that saw me privileged enough to be inspired by that and to bring back what I saw in Soweto and in the new South Africa, translated into Moss Side, Manchester, and then shared literally as a legacy of inspiration and hope. So the Youth Charter continues its work, but the Youth Charter is now scaling up its work. And I'm appealing to you to simply get involved, because many people think it's all about the money. Money is important, but give me human resource, give me talent, and give me a potential, and we can make magic happen.
Deras huvudbestämmelser har hållit på en